Making this video to kind of walk through the content in this third activity. Just showing you guys how to use Geometer Sketchpad, since this is one of our early assignments where we're really getting into that program. So over here on this side of the screen, I've got the course website and all of the instructions that you have on your website. And over here, I've opened a new window in Geometer Sketchpad. So I'm just going to go through these steps and show you what you're asked to do over here, and also kind of explain the purpose, the point that you're supposed to be taking away from this activity. So the first one says open a new document in Geometer Sketchpad. I've done that. From the edit menu, select the preferences option. So here on Geometer Sketchpad, in the edit menu, we're going to go to preferences. And then we're going to go to the Units tab and select the precision as hundredths, and then hit OK. So that's already done. Then we're going to go to the Graph menu and select the Show Grid option. So Graph, Show Grid, and we get a Cartesian plane up on our Geometer Sketchpad. Then we're going to go to the Construct Line tool, which is this one right here. And we're going to move the cursor over the coordinates 2, 3 and put a point. Then we're going to go over to 3, 7 and put another point. Okay, so now we've got a line segment between those 2 points. Then it says here to change back to the selection line tool on the left and highlight the line. Well, here we've already got the line highlighted, but if we go to the selection tool, I'll just show you guys, you can highlight this line or unhighlight it just by clicking on it using the selection tool. You can also click on the points if you are interested in doing something with the points. But right now we'll highlight the line. Then we're going to go from the measure menu, we're going to select slope, and the slope's going to appear. So we want to figure out the slope of this line. So I go up to the top of my screen and I hit measure, and I can measure the length of that line, or I can measure the slope of that line. So I'm going to measure slope. So we measure slope and it appears up here in the top corner. And I can drag that wherever it's handy to have on my screen. I'll leave it over here for now. So it says the slope of line segment AB is 3.86. Now that's pretty close to 4. And if you look here, this one has a rise of 4 and a run of 1. So why is it coming up with 3.86? It's because one of my points is not exactly on the grid where it recommended I put it. So I'm just going to drag this here. Let's see if I can get this right to 4. So if this is at 2, 3, I think that's right on the spot. And this one, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, so there we've got a slope of exactly 4. Okay, so what's next? Select the point tool on the left, plot a point anywhere except on the original line. Okay, so the point tool is right here, and I'm going to put a point, let's put it at -7, 4. So there's my new point. Then we're going to highlight the point and the line, and from the construct menu select parallel line. So we're going to highlight the point using the select tool, highlight the point and the line, and then we're going to go up to the construct menu and select parallel line. So if I click on parallel line, I get a line that's exactly parallel to AB. It says highlight the new line that you've created, and from the measure menu select slope, and we'll get the slope of the new line. So I want to highlight the new line, okay, measure, and slope. And I get the slope of line J. It's now named this line J for me. And the slope of line J is 4, which is the same as the slope of line segment AB. Okay, the same slope because they're parallel. Then we're going to select one of the points over here, point A, and we're going to drag it around and see what happens. If I drag it, we'll see that the slope of line J is also changing, because I've already told the program that that line J, has got to be parallel to the line segment AB. So as I change AB, it changes the slope of line J. Okay. So in the next segment it says we're going to drag the points from the original line back to the original position of 2, 3 and 3, 7. Okay, so 2, 3, I want to make sure that slope is 4 again. Pretty close. There we go. Okay, so I have my slope of exactly 4 again. The points are pretty much right where they originally started. And then it says we're going to plot a point anywhere except on the existing lines, change back to the selection tool, highlight the point in the original line, and now we're going to construct a perpendicular line. So I'm going to pick my point again, and I'm going to pick any point here. Let's put a point way over here at -3, 5. And we're going to go to construct. Oh, sorry, I have to still select that point, my new point, and my original line, and then I construct a perpendicular line. So a perpendicular line is now at a right angle to this one. Okay, so it's perpendicular to the slope of AB, which is also perpendicular to the slope of J. So if you look here, this angle between these two lines is a right angle. Okay, highlight the new line created. From the measure menu, select slope. So we're going to measure the slope of this new line. That's line K, and its slope is -0.25. Okay, so one thing you need to notice here about the slope of K compared to the slope of J is that the slope of K is called the negative reciprocal. It's -1/4. So the slope of J is 4, and the slope of K is -1/4. Alright, so last, what we're going to do is it says from the measure menu, select calculate option, and then a calculator should appear. Now that's a little bit incorrect. I think that's either a typo or running off of an old version of Sketchpad. So what I'll fix that on your version, but it's actually under number. So you go to Sketchpad, the number menu, and then calculate. We get a calculator that appears, and we're going to do -1 divided by the slope of the original line. So the slope of AB. Okay. So -1 divided by the slope of AB means that we're getting the negative reciprocal of the slope of AB, which is -0.25. It's also the slope of K, which is our perpendicular line. We hit OK, and that calculation comes up here. So now we've got the slope of AB, the slope of J, which is our parallel line, the slope of K, which is our perpendicular line, and the negative reciprocal calculation of the slope of AB, which of course is the same as our perpendicular line, or the slope of K here. Okay, now I can grab one of my points, drag it around, and everything changes, but J and K stay perpendicular, right? J stays parallel to AB, K stays perpendicular to AB, and all these numbers, while they're changing, the slope of AB and the slope of J are always the same, and the slope of K and the reciprocal of AB are always the same, and the slope of J and the slope of K are always negative reciprocals because they are perpendicular to each other. Okay, so that's everything that I think you were supposed to take away from this activity. Even though this video is here, you really do need to do this activity yourself as well, just because you need to get comfortable playing around with Geometer Sketchpad. It's a really useful tool, but there is a learning curve to it. So hopefully this video helps you to do that, and good luck with the rest of the activity.